Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm going to be talking about Zues Network and whether or not we think that they are creating monsters and tyrants, so let's get right into it. So, to begin, I would like to start with Joseline's Cabaret, because that's probably how the majority of us found out about Zues Network, and that's at least how I found out about it. I've seen probably every show besides the Black China one, and the other ones that aren't relevant. Joseline's Cabaret Season 2 was a whole different breed of wild. And I will say, yeah, Zues Network is my guilty pleasure. I love watching this stuff. I do love watching it, but also there's not really much else interesting reality TV to watch whatsoever. And I really only like reality TV. But Joseline Hernandez is so disrespectful and rude. I could not imagine having her as my boss, let alone having her be that disrespectful to me on live television for millions of people to see, in front of, like, literally in front of everybody. And on top of that, I can't even begin. She is just so mean for no reason, and I don't feel like people like that should be in charge whatsoever. She's just mean for the sake of it. She has no real reason, no excuse to be mean. That's just who she is, but it doesn't mean it's appropriate. And before, she probably had to at least be somewhat nice to people before the show really blew up, because you gotta have people to want to come on your show in the first place. But now after this, one of the big aspects of the show is her being disrespectful to everybody. So, I mean, people who go on there, they know what they're signing up for. They're signing up for to get bullied just for some exposure, but it's not appropriate. And I feel like when we do this, like when we look at these shows and we applaud them and we ask for more, we're telling them, oh yeah, we like shows where the boss is disrespectful. We like the shows where everybody's being bullied at all times. We like seeing rude people in power. And it's already like that enough. We already have so many exploitative, disrespectful people in positions of power in our society that we do not need to normalize and encourage incredibly disrespectful people with no filter to be in charge and to have like control over us. And I can't be like, oh no, the show is horrible, because I've watched every single episode with my popcorn, but in the long run, this is not gonna end well, I don't think, whatsoever. Like, do we want to have bosses like that? Do we want people to think that, to make a good show, you have to have somebody who's like tearing into everybody at all times for no reason? Like, you literally couldn't even cough on that show. Don't cough in my direction! And then with the Chrisean Rock and Blueface show, that is a whole nother topic. And like I'm saying, I'm not coming at anybody. I'm part of the problem. But the fact that we have made a television show out of a domestically abusive relationship, we have idolized and put on a pedestal a horribly toxic, abusive relationship to the point where they got their own show. And it doesn't even seem like they love each other during that show. They are literally just existing next to each other. That's how it comes across, at least in my opinion. There's a few scenes, maybe like 5 max out of the entire show, where they were actually like, they seemed like they kind of loved each other to me. I don't know, it's just wild. So really, the whole reason why this show exists is because we want to see toxic couples fight. And we just need to do better, guys. We do need to like check ourselves. We need people to make us better reality TV that doesn't have to be like this. But until then, I don't even know what to say. And Chrisean in general is another entire topic, because she is just unhinged. And I do feel like she has a hold over Zues Network. And it's because she really is the trending topic these current days. And so she does have tons of power and they want her to be on the show. But it's really already going to her head. Even when there's other things going on in Baddies West, she's still like, you girls are only important because of me. The show's only doing well because of me. Like, acting like she's the only reason anybody is there, has any like relevance or exposure. And it may be true to an extent, but not to the point where she should be walking around yelling like that, calling people like irrelevant and whatnot, and let alone jumping people out of nowhere, like just out of nowhere, just beating the crap out of somebody. At least give them a second to get prepared to fight you. It's not appropriate or respectful in any way, and it's like, it's chicken, in my opinion. If you're such a great fighter, then let the person have a fair chance. Like, please. She is just a whole different breed of person, and I get that she is so strong that a lot of us are scared of her, but that's not a good enough excuse to not be holding her accountable, to be letting her run around like a tyrant and disrespect everybody with no consequences whatsoever, Once again, do we want people like her in power? No, we do not. We do not want anyone like Chrisean Rock in power. Imagine if you're just talking to your boss and you tell them you're not going to be able to come in on Sunday, actually, and they're like, oh, okay, and out of nowhere they just beat the crap out of you. That is like where we're heading. And on top of that, we're also teaching younger girls, if you want to be famous, if you want to be relevant, you got to be rude. You got to be disrespectful. You got to fight people. This could easily lead to that. And that's just not the type of world that we want to live in. And then on top of that, to have Natalie Nunn be the executive producer of all this stuff, I'm sorry, but I grew up watching Bad Girls Club. It was when I used to be my dream to be on the show. I thought it was my purpose. Now I know I would have a miserable time the entire time. I would be like locked up in the room scared because I don't know how to fight. But Natalie Nunn was one of the most unlikable, disrespectful, just rude, selfish bad girls on the entire series that I've ever seen. And people remember her like that. That's why they call her the Crimson Chin, because she's not likable. If she was likable enough, she'd be pretty, probably. She just is not somebody I would ever want to be around. I couldn't even pretend to like her. And I really would love to hear that she's changed, but I don't believe it at this time. I would have to see a whole big difference. Again, do we want people like Natalie Nunn in power? People who are exploiting those with health issues. Clearly the majority of the people on these shows have really bad health issues. So why are we taking their health issues, encouraging the bad behavior, but letting them know this is what will get you money? If you wanted to do better in life, keep on acting worse and angrier and crazier and more violent. You know what I'm saying? It's not appropriate. And then I also real fast want to talk about Stunna Girl. Stunna Girl is one of the new girls on the Baddies West series. Probably the main reason she's on the show in the first place is because her and somebody else, I forget the name, they took another rapper named Rocky Bad, I believe, and put her in a cage, and they just did the worst to her. I'll show you this TikTok to give the details.
So her and Cuban Doll apparently jumped Rocky Bad and put her in a dog cage, and they set her up and basically did a lot of things where they cut her stomach, they assaulted her, and soon she was hospitalized. Here you have an Instagram post of Rocky Bad showing her injuries. Warning graphic, I should have warned y'all before. Discussed on Twitter, Stunna Girl and Cuban Doll were not the only ones who did this. They had a group of men who helped them achieve this horrible act in which they kidnapped the girl, again cut her stomach and put her in a cage, and that is where she lied. They also stole her chain while doing so, and that's pretty much it.
Just a whole different level of crazy. And Natalie Nunn just acted like nothing happened, when deep down we know that's the whole reason she wanted her on the show, is to make something as crazy as possible happen to get all the attention and eyes on them. But why are we giving people who kidnap people, who cut people up, who let men antagonize you after they put you in a cage, in a position of power? Like, we're just giving her fame, relevance, exposure, money. That's just going to lead to a worse and worse society if we have people like that running the world. Please, no, we have to take a stop. We have to take a stand at some point and be like, no, we might watch and laugh at y'all, but we're not encouraging y'all. We don't respect you. We don't support you. We're not paying anything. We're not no advertisements working with them or anything. It is just unhinged. And it's just really unsafe, and I just don't want to teach the younger generation that to be relevant, to have exposure, to be an influencer, to be anything, you have to be violent, disrespectful, rude, etc. It is not appropriate in any way, shape, or form. So that's all I'm going to talk about for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. Let me know you want some more type of content like this, gossip content, commentary content. I'm still going to be making budget content as well. I just want to broaden my horizons a little bit, guys. So stick around if you want to see more of that, and I will see you in my next video, okay? I love you guys.